Alright, so it's nice and early. I have my not the quite best tasting ever gas station coffee. On my way to the ATL. About 500 miles to go. Get some. Steve Bogren here, Pro Physique. I'm actually in the process of driving to Georgia. I'm about halfway there. I just got into Georgia from Tampa, and I'm on my way to north of Atlanta. I'm going to be handling a lifter at one of his meets, just trying to help make it a smoother transition for him as he's coming down a weight class. And talking to the lifter this week kind of got some things going in my head, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about one, what you should be looking at going into your meet, and sort of how you should be setting your goals, right? Now, there's a huge tendency, and whether it's a meet, whether it's a bodybuilding, no matter what kind of competition it is, there's a tendency to look at all your other competition, everybody else that's going to be there, right? Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with that, knowing who's going to be showing up and having an idea of what your competition is going to look like. That being said, with something like powerlifting or bodybuilding, once the meet day or once the competition day comes, there's not a whole lot that you can do to change what you're bringing to the stage or to the platform. You are as strong as you are. You are as lean as you are, or as big as you are. So these variables, these are things that we've tried to maximize and make the best out of in training and coming up to the competition. The actual competition or meet day, there's really not much we can do, right? We can make sure that we're well hydrated, that we're well fed, that we're doing things to take care of the fact that we're going to have full muscle bellies, plenty of glycogen, plenty of energy, feeling good, a good night's sleep, those things. But even so, within the day itself, there's really not much that you can do. You're not going to make yourself able to lift 50 more pounds. You're not going to make yourself 2 pounds of body fat leaner. It just doesn't happen. So typically what happens when we look at our competition is we get a thought in our head. I have to lift this much. This person does that. And so with meets in particular, it can really mess up your attempt selection if you let it. And that's a big, big deal. Because when you're going into a meet, you don't want to try and lift someone else's meet, right? You don't want to have to match someone else. You're not that athlete. You're not that lifter. It's just not a realistic thing to do. So having a plan of action and lifting your own meet is very, very important, especially when it comes to things like attempt selection, right? You want to make sure that you have a very easy opener, something you can hit on a bad day. And if for some reason something's going wrong and something's off, not being afraid to lower that opener, right? You're competing against yourself. And so this speaks to a type of goal orientation that most people lean towards after they've reached a certain age. And we call that ego goal orientation. What that means is that I no longer want to be better than I was last time. I want to be better than someone else. I want to be the best of the best, whatever the case may be. So we are no longer comparing our current self to a previous self, or just within what is in us, right? How we've progressed. We have now thrown out our own progression, and we are looking at how we measure up against other people. So this can be good and bad. Why can it be good? So some of the great things about this is that it forces you to be better. It forces you to look at what other people are doing, their training strategies, their nutrition, their overall performance, and look at what you can do to get better. And so this is really important, right? As athletes and as people, we want to continually strive to be better. And that goes to a different type of goal orientation. But looking at others can help us to maximize what we're doing or to improve upon our current strategies. Now, what is the bad part about looking at everybody else and trying to keep up? So, one, something simple like attempt selection or dealing with your meat, or even looking at a competition. If you're too busy looking at other people and stressing out over other people, too much stress is going to have a negative outcome. So when we talk about stress, there's kind of a sweet spot, right? So within certain parameters, you actually perform best. So if you have no stress, you tend not to perform as well. But if you have too much stress, there's definitely a decrement in performance also. This can affect you on the lifting platform, obviously, but it can also affect your physique and how you look on stage. So staying within a normal range of stress or even low stress is probably can be of great benefit when getting ready to compete. Because when we talk about the mental factors of competition, the way that you are able to handle the stress, the anxiety, and all of the other mental factors, the things that are going to have you psychologically aroused, that are going to take attention, the way that you manage those things all helps to affect your performance, or it hurts your performance. So these are things that we want to take into account, and every lifter, every athlete is different. How they deal with those stresses is different, and how they're going to be able to perform in relation to the amount of stress that they have is different. So as a coach, it's important for you to be able to know your lifters and know your athletes and be able to manage those variables. So we've talked about the ego or the comparing to other people. So what's the other type? And our initial goal orientation is something they call task goal orientation. Now what this means is we simply want to be better than we were the last time. If I ran a mile in 8 minutes, if I now run it in 7 minutes and 45 seconds, I'm happy. I have bettered myself. I have improved upon prior performance. This is great. If I squatted 300 pounds last time and I squatted 315 pounds, awesome, I have improved upon myself. Placement is not a factor in this. It is simply being better than I was last time. Now, this is a much easier type of goal orientation to upkeep, right? It's not dependent on other people, it's simply dependent on yourself. So as long as you're getting better, you are able to continue setting and achieving new goals. Now, I'm pretty sure that no matter what I do, no matter what goals I set or how I go about it, how good I get, I have very little chance of ever outlifting John Hack. It's just not going to happen. The dude's a beast. So that's an unrealistic goal for me to set, or an expectation for me to have of myself. I am setting myself up for failure. Which again is why you don't want to look at other lifters when you're going into a meet or a competition. We want to set ourselves up not only for the best success in improvements, but psychologically as well. You will hear me talk about the psychology of lifting and bodybuilding and the psychology of the athlete over and over and over again. And this is because I can tell you, I truly believe that the psychological aspects of the process are one of the most overlooked fundamentals of being successful. Yes, we are physical beings, but yes, we see that people have disorders that are brought on by their psychological well-being, right? So it's very, very important to keep psychological factors in mind, to pay attention to those variables. Keep that in mind when you're getting ready to go into a competition, when you're getting ready to go into a meet day, or if you're even looking at a competition or a meet or something to do. Set goals for yourself. Don't set goals based on a placement or a trophy that might not even be realistic, because the truth of the matter is you never know who's showing up that day. Some people might have been doing this for 10 years longer than you, and they've had great programming, great nutrition, and everything's been on, right? And they had great genetics in the first place. They started from a better place than you. So how do you beat somebody like that? Well, chances are you might not, unless they have a bad day. And maybe they will have a bad day. Maybe something will get in their head. Maybe their attempt selections will be bad, or they did a poor job peaking, and maybe you can beat them on that day. But either way, it's not something you should worry about. On meet day, your focus should be 100% on you and having the best meet that you alone can have. Improving upon yourself. If you've dropped weight and you're still close to your prior total, like, that is awesome. That is a huge success, right? If you have stayed the same weight and you've added to your total, again, huge success. If you came in with the same conditioning that you came in at the year before, but you're 3 pounds heavier or 2 pounds heavier, that is a big success. Those are all huge improvements. And I think that quite often we like to be hypercritical of ourselves, right? So it is very, very easy to be like that. And I know that I'm the same way. I actually saw somebody make a comment on it the other day of watching their own YouTube videos. Every time I watch my videos, I can become very, very hypercritical and pick out all the things I do not like about it. And it becomes very unproductive, because when I started putting out content, it would actually be crippling. I would be so hypercritical that I never got anything done. So I think, and when we look at the process, I've continually been improving. I've continually been getting better. Lifting, fitness, health, these are all the same idea. We need to focus on the continual improvement and really, really prioritize the bettering of self, making it about myself, what I want to do, and becoming stronger, faster, healthier, just a better person, more positive, whatever the case may be, whatever the goal is, whatever you're trying to accomplish. The progress towards that goal is what you should pay attention to, not necessarily the competitive aspect of it. I've had plenty of people that have come to me that have just started working out. They've been working out less than 6 months, and their goal is to hit the Olympia stage and to be an Olympian level athlete, right? It's not quite that simple. I'm not saying you can't do it, because a lot of people have great possibility within them. But setting realistic goals that aren't going to let you down, that is important. So for everybody that's getting ready to compete, getting ready to lift, I hope you guys have a great meet, a great competition. I hope that you have improved, you've gotten better, and can really, really take solace and pride in the progress that you've made. All right, Steve Bogan for Pro Physique. I'm out!